Hey everyone, Kyle Meinke from MLime.com, joined by Justin Rogers. Lions introduced new GM Bob Quinn today at a press conference, just a couple days after his hire. First time he's taken questions, and there's a lot, obviously, to get out of the way. The future of Caldwell, future of Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford, on and on down the line. Lots of material to cover. Justin, what was your big takeaway from meeting Bob Quinn today?
I think the first time you hire a general manager with no general manager experience, you wonder if they're equipped to handle the position. And, I guess my initial big takeaway was Quinn seemed incredibly polished, had that Patriot shine to him, and seemed very much ready, even at the age of 39, which is young for the position, to ready to take on that challenge head on. He had all the answers, seemed very professional, very businesslike, never really stammered. And, it's first day, but it's a good first day for him.
The big news, I thought, was his comments on Jim Caldwell.
Absolutely.
That he had not decided yet in his future, and that would be decided once he got a better relationship with him. Because I think first and foremost for Quinn, it's about having that relationship between the scouting department and the coaching staff, and having that trust and whether they can work together. And I think that'll be the key factor, if you will, in Caldwell's future. My big takeaway really was, and it was on the side session after the press conference, but we were really talking to him about just the structure of the organization and taking a lot of what the Patriots did and bringing it here. And he had said in the press conference he didn't want to cut and paste what the Patriots did and the Patriots way and all that stuff, but they are going to structure their scouting department and a lot of the talent evaluations and so forth with the draft and free agency, like the Patriots. And I thought it was very interesting that he was asked by a reporter, can you just tell us maybe a guy or two you found when you were with the Patriots? And because he was so much on the pro scouting side, and they had so many success stories of picking up guys in midseason, and they had 8 guys I think in the Super Bowl who were picked up midseason or whatever.
I think Malcolm Butler was one of those guys.
He was one of the guys, yeah, exactly. And Quinn was like, in New England, there's 10 guys who are completing one talent evaluation, and so nobody takes credit ever. Obviously, Belichick has his hand in everything and is the guy with his hand on the big red button, but no one ever takes the credit outside of that for an evaluation because there's so much input from so many people. And that kind of stands in contrast for me with some of the things that happened here. They were very quick to say, Sheldon White picked out Rasheed Mathis or whoever else, and with Quinn, he said, even here, I'm the guy who's going to take a card down off the board after we draft a guy. But that's it. Otherwise, a total collaboration. And 10 people weighing in on a single pick or a single talent evaluation. And so, but the particulars on how they'll go about these things are secret. They're never going to tell us publicly. But it's clear they're bringing a lot of the Patriots' ways of doing things here. And I was very impressed with his answers to that, of what he would take here from his time in New England.
I don't know about you. I felt it was impossible to get a read one way or the other with the Caldwell decision. 2 things I liked that he said was that he had no preconceived notions. He was going with a clean slate in the meeting. 2, no ownership directive or recommendations. I think both those things are important for your general manager. You want him to go in there and make a fresh decision. He said he has, over the years, developed a list of qualities he wants and expects in a coach. He declined to share any of those, but in terms of being an easy guy to work with, I think Caldwell is that. I think he's very much a moldable guy that will work with what you want, what you present, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he is in line with what Quinn sees as a coach. Maybe that involves playing younger players more, and maybe Caldwell's a little bit more stubborn on that front. There's a lot of different things. If I was to guess based on what I heard today, and if he's being honest, I think Caldwell probably stays for the season, but it really is a true coin flip still at this point. I wouldn't believe anything you've read from any national media, whether likely safe or likely gone. I think it's still to be determined.
We've seen tweets and reports at every end of the spectrum when it comes to Caldwell.
Yeah.
He's likely gone, that he's likely staying, that it hasn't been decided, that there's been no change, that there's been a lot of change. I mean, we've heard it all. To me, that just says nobody knows anything at this point. And that's true of what Quinn says is true. They've met for 30 seconds and he's made no headway whatsoever. There's just nothing has changed in the past week or since this hire. Be wary of those reports that are out there. This is going to take a few days at least, I think. I'm with you, by the way, on your gut call. I think it's probably a 50-50 call, but if I had to go one way or the other, I think he would stay just from some of the things he said. And another point that he had made in addition to the stuff you had said was that he'd be evaluating Caldwell not just on 2015, but as the total body of work.
Right.
And I think that bodes well for Caldwell because he has. I mean, as much as it easy as it is to bag on him for what happened this year, he does have a long winning history in this league, both as an assistant, as a head coach. He obviously had the 2-14 season in Indy, but also had 2 very good seasons there. He took over a Lions franchise that was underwhelming, went 11-5 in the first year, made the playoffs. I know there was a lot of magic and a lot of different things that broke their way for that pursuit, but Caldwell has a long track record in this league. He works well with people. He's very well regarded. I think, who knows what happens, but if he really is getting judged on his full body of work throughout his pro career, that does bode well for him, I think.
I also thought Quinn's answer on Calvin Johnson was the right answer. We talked about it in our video with Calvin, about Calvin earlier this week, that his mind and body are at their worst point at the end of the season. And, of course you're always going to be more self-doubting at that stage, and it's important for him to take the time to truly evaluate the decision as he heals. And Quinn said now is not the time to reach out to these players. You don't want to force a player to stay or go at this time when they're making that decision because it's the wrong time. They're not in the right mental frame. So he's going to wait for Calvin to get closer to full health mentally and physically. I'll say it again, March 15th is free agency. That's really where the Lions need to know whether they need to make alternative plans. But, again, it showed Quinn's advanced knowledge of players and how to handle them. I think that's an important part of being general managers, knowing how to handle your players throughout the full calendar year, not just during free agency or during the draft.
That's what we got for today. Lots and lots to talk about with Quinn. We got him for about a half hour today, so lots of stories and videos to come on MLife. Keep it right here. For Dustin Rogers, I'm Kyle Mikey.